Hi, my name is Starnes. Hold on. Hi, my name is Starnes. I have been a member of this church since I was born. I could talk for days and days about all the experiences I've been lucky enough to have, the people I've met, and the number of times I've heard the exact same Sunday school lesson about the birth of Jesus. Most of my first memories took place in this church, learning lessons like how to count and share and playing clippity-clop at Christmas as a preschooler. One of the biggest parts of my life here at First Baptist has been my musical experience. Since I was born, I have been trained and groomed to stand up in the choir loft and sing. That didn't just happen overnight. Music not only served as a great way for me to express myself, but often, without realizing it, the lesson that God loved me was being ingrained into my mind. So many of the memories that I've had here at First Baptist were thanks to the volunteering of people here in this room. Vacation Bible School was a week that I looked forward to every year as a kid, and I knew that I wanted to be just like the youth leaders who I thought were just the coolest people ever. So, as soon as I got to the youth group, I jumped on every chance I could to get to lead younger people and hopefully make some of them think that I was the coolest person ever. I've also had plenty of experiences where I've gotten to help other people outside of the church. On our trip to Hungary 3 years ago, we got to meet and sing with Hungarian Gypsy youth and exchange cultures just for a while to see out of the eyes of somebody from a very different background. This trip showed me the strong spirit of those people and how, even after having suffered so much, they can still spread so much joy. As much as I expected to be serving others while I was there, it turned out that I was there to learn from them. The Freedom School in Charleston is another example of this. While it may seem like the church group going to a poor school to sing songs would be the ones teaching a lesson to the children, it was the exact opposite. The kids there sang about how strong they were and that they knew they would make it with such enthusiasm and excitement every day, and yet I complained about going to choir just once a week because I didn't want to miss a football game. This realization changed my whole outlook on life and how lucky I truly am. Despite all this, my favorite memory from First Baptist is my time spent as a volunteer for the Upward Basketball League. For the past 5 years since FBCG started its Upward program, I've worked every year in some capacity. It started out just as reffing and keeping score, but the third year, my uncle convinced me to be his assistant coach, and I instantly loved it. I loved not only teaching basketball, but also being a role model for the kids. After that, I head coached a team for each of the past 2 years, which was an amazing experience. While it really only took up about 3 hours a week, I felt like I was having a significant impact on the kids I was coaching. Before all that happened, around the time when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I had a realization. I realized that I had shifted from someone who was being taught by other people into someone who was ready to lead others because I had already learned everything I needed to know. Standing here, looking back at that thought, I wish I could go back in time and slap myself in the face and tell me how naive I was. Except that 7th grade me probably wouldn't even know what naive meant. That's the whole thing though. No matter how much I've learned and how much I've taken in from other people, there's always more experiences for me to have and more for me to learn from others. The idea that I could ever be a finished product is insane. I know it's a cliche, but it really is true that everybody is constantly learning new things. Not only are we learning new things, but more importantly, we're shaping our minds and character by what we see around us and by the role models we choose for ourselves. Looking back, I'm very lucky to have the loving parents that I have, who have done so much for me, and to have the pseudo family that has been around me my whole life in this congregation. People like Jim and Carolyn Klontz, who made it possible for me to go to Hungary, are the people who make this place such an amazing place to grow up in. My high school Sunday school teachers, John Sample, Jenny Hall, Julie King, and every other teacher I've had here, all take time out of their own lives to share their wisdom with others. The care shown by them and countless others in this place has affected me more than most of you will ever know. There's no contribution too small that doesn't have an impact on someone. If there's one thing that I want everybody here to take away from today, other than how handsome I look in the jacket and tie, it is that the little things you all do for others have a profound influence, even if you don't realize it. I realized after years of working at Bible camp, sports camp, Upward, and many other things, how little effort and time it took from me to help others. I realized that the youth leaders I looked up to so much when I was little were really just spending a couple hours a day for just 1 week a year to try and herd little kids calmly from room to room. And the coaches I have for sports teams weren't giving up their lives to do it. They just spent 2 hours a week doing something that is actually really, really fun. And as I realized how easy it was for me to do something that would have such an awesome impact on someone else, it made me that much more excited to do them and do something for others that so many people in my life had done for me. Isaac Newton once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." Everybody that takes the time to help another is a giant, and without those giants, I would be up here today, and I wouldn't be as prepared for the next step in my journey. I owe every success I may have to the investment of time and love that the people in this church have shown me for the past 17 years. For as long as I can remember, every time I've seen Chris tonight, it has been the exact same. He grabs my shoulder real tight, squeezes, and says, "Boy, give me some good news." I'm now at the point where I can't wait to see him, so I can brag subtly about my latest accomplishment, or even just tell him how I'm doing. Well, I have some good news today. I made it this far in my journey, and I'm ready to share the lessons I've learned here with the rest of the world as I move on to a new stage in my life.